Hi everyone, this is Matthew Deal back again. Today we're going to discuss something about chatbots and HubSpot and how you can use those to streamline portions of your sales and marketing operations and how a lot of other organizations employ them. Everything from the marketing to sales to the customer success or customer service side. You really see organizations embrace chatbots as a way to reduce the operational time of what it takes to have somebody manning like a particular chat station at a particular time. Just a brief explainer, chatbots are essentially automated chat script systems that you can use in various systems. We think of like an intercom as a great example. We think of Slack in some cases. We think of Facebook Messenger, and HubSpot has that ability. So essentially, almost the same way that you would design a workflow in HubSpot and design that around the ideal customer experience that you want. This in the same way is effectively chatting in real time with your visitors on the website and allowing you to choose certain chat flows based on responses you may get from them, based on preform responses, based on data that they input and everything else like that. There's usually three big areas that I tend to push our clients towards in terms of how to think about chatbots and how to use those more effectively. So the first big one is the idea that the chatbot is essentially a form. That's all it is. So, like when we think about the idea that as forms get longer, we tend to see fewer people filling those things out. Generally speaking, like one CRO tactic is to be able to reduce the number of form inputs, which thus allows more visitors to fill out forms. Long forms traditionally have been proven again and again to be daunting to the visitor experience, and they tend to push back from that. So the chat function, the chatbot function in HubSpot essentially acts as a form. So it is essentially a conversational style form. So asking something as basic as, what's your name, right? What's your email address? You can directly take those and then put them into HubSpot. One of the things that we need to do, and you'll see this pattern replicated almost across every single chatbot on the planet, is when you start building that chat flow, you need to grab information and you need to be able to grab it. So sometimes, just like forms, people will not complete your intended flow, or will decide to exit or decide to get bored of it, or start a chat flow thinking that they're going to get a human being, but instead they're getting an automated flow. And then they're sense that or realize that they don't want to do anything else with it. The most important takeaway is you need to grab probably one of four things depending on your situation. Usually first name, last name, email address, or telephone number. You want to try to capture what you can. The fortunate thing is that all, again, corresponds to fields in HubSpot. So make sure that you're starting your chat flows with, again, the most basics. And finally, our last point is what we really get into on the website is discussing the idea that you can use HubSpot chat flows as a way to qualify leads. There's almost too many benefits to being able to do this if you can accomplish it. One, you definitely reduce the amount of time it takes to both respond to leads and be able to sort through. This is where the chat flows and your specific questions can really relate to that idea of an ideal customer profile. Ideally, you've already have HubSpot's personas in place. You have a very strong sense of who your customers are. And so then we're looking for those same attributes, either associated in deals or companies, to be able to go from there. So again, like when we're thinking about location, geolocation, right? Some companies only offer services within X area. So if you're outside of that area, it doesn't really do any good to talk to this person, at least not for the purpose of making a conversion in a very direct action sense like that. So in those situations, we might qualify people based on their location. We might qualify people based on their budget and say, hey, we work with a range of different enterprise clients and small to medium business clients all over the spectrum, but you really need to be within this range to be somebody that we want to continue to talk to and really treat like a seriously qualified lead. We may ask people their job title. So one of the reasons that we ask for job titles is that it very closely relates to job function in most cases. And that job function may tell you if you're talking to the right person at an organization or not. So again, using these different questions that you find most pertinent to your customer, and then using those to qualify and separate whether someone is effectively a good lead or a bad lead. Anybody who's steered clear of using chatbots, it's an excellent way to, again, really be able to capture information that you maybe haven't been able to capture before. Make sure that you are capturing the basics basics when it comes to first name, last name, maybe telephone number, maybe there's some other field that's important to your organization that you need to have. Treat it as a form, but make sure before you get into qualifying questions, make sure that you take care of the basics first. And then when you do get into qualifying questions, you go back to what your ideal customer profile is. But again, don't go overboard with it in terms of that you risk alienating your visitor or anything else like that. Thanks so much. Please like and subscribe. It helps. We've got a very tiny subscriber count now. And feel free to comment if there's anything that you feel like you want covered when it comes to HubSpot. Feel free to put down the comments and maybe we cover it on a video in the next couple of weeks. Thanks.